Pretend to be Z.
I am Bobby Z.
Border, and if you walk away, well, you walk away.
The legend that is Bobby Z.
Hello, welcome to our RecapPlus channel with me, Matthew. Today we will watch a recap movie called Bobby Z, released in 2007. This is a spoiler content video. So please turn on the subtitle and let's start the story. On the California coast, an elderly man shares the story of Bobby Z, a former marijuana dealer and trafficker. The narrative then shifts to a prison where Tim Kearney is held for deadly crimes. Mad Dog, a gangster with significant influence, bullies Tim. Fed up, Tim takes matters into his own hands, slitting Mad Dog's throat with a license plate, gaining notoriety among prison officials. Seeking a way out of prison, Tim meets federal agent Tad Grusa, who specializes in securing releases. Tad proposes that Tim assumes the identity of the notorious drug lord Bobby Z to escape. Tad warns Tim of the dangers within the prison, emphasizing that Mad Dog's associates pose a continuous threat. Despite Tim's bravado, Tad urges him to prioritize his safety and leave prison swiftly. Contemplating Tad's offer, Tim decides to accept. The narrative then introduces Federal Agent Moreno aboard a ship under Don Hartero's captivity. Tad discloses that Moreno's release hinges on delivering Bobby Z to him. Unbeknownst to Tim, the real Bobby Z is deceased, and they need to find a look-alike. After careful consideration, Tim agrees to the plan. A makeover transforms Tim into a convincing Bobby Z look-alike. Given instructions and details about Bobby Z, including photos of two women, Elizabeth and Olivia, Tim is prepared for the exchange. Tad emphasizes the significance of these women. Tim is taken to the border for the exchange, armed with the contact of Monk, a close friend of the real Bobby Z. However, the story takes a turn when it's revealed that Tad is not sincere with Tim. His true motive is to eliminate Tim and secure Moreno's return. When the attempt to shoot Tim occurs, he narrowly evades the bullet, causing one of Don's men to be hit instead. A shootout ensues between Tad's team and Don's men. Amidst the chaos, Tim manages to hide in the bushes but is ultimately spotted and taken away at gunpoint by Don's men. Tim finds himself in a luxurious house, treated kindly by everyone. A servant informs him of a party at the pool and provides a new suit. As he joins the pool gathering, he notices Elizabeth. A man approaches him, stating that Brian wants to see him urgently, revealing that Brian is Don's right hand overseeing the business. That night, Elizabeth visits Tim's room and reveals that the boy she was with earlier is Bobby Z's son. They sleep together, and Tim learns that Don plans to kill Bobby Z after the exchange without understanding the reason. Tim immediately plans to escape, aware that remaining there would mean his demise upon Don's arrival. However, as he attempts to leave, Bobby Z's son, Kit, sees him and requests to join, prompting Tim to take him along. They manage to acquire a horse and escape, but their situation becomes dire when Brian discovers Tim's escape. Brian orders his men to bring Tim back, leading to a hail of bullets. Recognizing Kit as a liability, Tim instructs him to hide while he confronts the pursuers. As an ex-Marine, Tim proves to be a formidable fighter, defeating the men and reclaiming Kit. On a motorbike, they travel on a secluded road until it runs out of fuel. Forced to walk, they face challenges ahead. Meanwhile, Brian punishes Elizabeth for divulging the plan, and he dispatches a plane, assigning his best man, Johnson, to capture Tim. Many men on horses are also sent to hunt them down, reaching their location where Tim and Kit hide behind rocks upon spotting the approaching horses. The fight begins, and Tim defeats all the men, knocking them down. However, just as he and Kit are about to escape, Johnson appears and shoots Tim in the leg. Don arrives, torturing Brian for letting Bobby Z slip away, learning that Elizabeth revealed their plan. Don orders Bobby Z to be kept alive and instructs his men to deal with Brian. The next day, Tad and his men find Brian's dead body. Tad discovers that Tim is now on the run, so he contacts Boom Boom, informing him that Tim is heading to Mexico. Tad instructs Boom Boom to hunt down Tim at any cost, using Mad Dog's men for the job. He reveals that Mad Dog is dead, killed by the same man they aim to capture. Tim purchases a car from the motel owner and gathers supplies for their escape. He calls Monk, asking him to prepare cash and a passport, maintaining the Bobby Z persona. Monk instructs Tim to visit his house in the morning. Meanwhile, Johnson arrives at the motel, inquiring about Kit and Tim. He enters the room Tim stayed in, joined by Boom Boom. When Tim and Kit return to the motel, Tim senses danger inside the room, grabbing Kit and fleeing just before the room explodes, killing Johnson. As they attempt to leave, Boom Boom appears, initiating a shootout. Tim overpowers Boom Boom, taking his bike. Elizabeth is with Monk, expressing joy about Bobby Z's return. Monk plans a special welcome home party for him. The next day, at the party, Tim encounters Elizabeth, who admits she knew he wasn't Bobby Z from the start. Tim confesses the truth about his identity. Tad arrives with his men, but Elizabeth reveals that Monk is aware of the truth and has agreed to help Tim escape those pursuing him. They make their way to the port, where Monk is already waiting for them with the passport and the cash. However, Don arrives before they can escape and takes Kit hostage. Don reveals that he has always wanted to kill Bobby Z due to a past deception with Monk that caused him great loss. Olivia was Don's daughter, and she killed herself after being dumped by Bobby Z seeking revenge. Don threatens to kill Kit if Tim doesn't surrender. Tim refuses to give in and vows to kill them all if they harm the boy. Kit seizes an opportunity, hitting Don in the nuts, creating a distraction. This allows Elizabeth and Tim to break free from Don's men. Elsewhere, Tad visits the place where the real Bobby Z used to live, unaware that the real Bobby Z is still alive and the mastermind behind the plan. Bobby Z is aware that Don won't stop until he's sure Bobby Z is dead, so they stage the drama with a fake Bobby Z. The plan goes awry when Tim survives. After dealing with Don and his men, Tim, Kit, and Elizabeth head to the port. Tim thanks Monk and tells him he can leave. He throws his gun into the sea, intending to board the ship. However, Boom Boom arrives with his men, surrounding Tim. The situation worsens as Mad Dog's men, whom Tim had killed, also appear. The real Bobby Z arrives, and Tim reveals the truth about their identities. Kit, calling Tim his father, further confuses everyone, making them believe Tim is the real Bobby Z. Mad Dog's men and Boom Boom open fire on Tad and the real Bobby Z, resulting in their deaths. Kit, Elizabeth, and Tim leave together, marking the end of the story. To watch more video like this, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last I will say stay safe and stay healthy. See you next videos.